Alrighty, hi everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. Happy New Year. This is Song speaking, aka Pineapple. So, big thanks for all of you for joining our very first AMA of 2025. I hope your 24 ended on a really high note. And Meme Job That Fun definitely kicked things into high gear on Hedera. And it's super exciting to see all the new projects coming out. It's actually been a while since we've held a X Spaces event, so we're really excited that you are all here. 2025 is going to be a great year for crypto and especially the Hedera community. So if you haven't already, feel free to check out the new feature on SaucerSwap Finance. The search bar allows you to search pretty much any tokens you're interested in, and it'll basically just pull up the pools and the token data. So that's super very convenient. But yeah, for this AMA, we have lots of good questions from the community, and so let's get this started. On to you, Adam.
Thank you, Song. This is ABFTFTW, aka Adam as well. Hello, everybody. Hello, 2025. I feel like it's going to be an exciting year for SaucerSwap and the ecosystem in general. We have a ton to talk about, so let's get started. How's it hanging, Peter?
Hey, yeah, thank you, Song and Adam. Hey, everyone, thanks for joining this AMA. So I'm really excited to talk about our roadmap that we just published. So if you haven't had a chance to read that, we did publish it to our Medium. It's also in our documentation, so docs.saucerswap.finance. So go and check that out. So the big story is that 2025 and beyond roadmap. It is a comprehensive look at how we plan to scale DeFi on Hedera. It covers things such as refining our reward initiatives and some highly requested features like on-chain limit orders, which I think is actually our most requested feature. We also have items such as launching a dedicated mobile app, both for iOS and Android. We are also currently working on completely overhauling our UI. We also have, I believe, in the near term, permissionless SaucerSwap version 2 pool creation. And in the future, some really big endeavors like eventually launching SaucerSwap version 3 and perpetual futures. So we have come a long way since our version 2 launch, which was in November of last year, or I should say 2 years ago now. And 2024 laid a solid foundation for everything we're ready to accomplish in 2025 and beyond. So this AMA is a great venue to take your questions, which have a lot to do with our roadmap. Some of the things that are asked almost every AMA, including community pools, limit orders. We can get into more specifics there and share a detailed vision. So we will cover some key pillars like user experience, new features, and ecosystem growth, including Axelar and Layer Bridge integration. So stay tuned. We do have a lot to cover. This is going to be probably one of our longer AMAs. So let's just jump right into the questions.
Thanks for the highlights, Peter. So, starting off is a question from Anon, which really just gets to the meat of this AMA. What are the key milestones you hope Sauce will achieve by Q2 of 2025?
Cool, yeah. And the way I am interpreting this question is SaucerSwap specifically. So we have actually recently been going through a qual quant evaluation to be able to track our growth. So we evaluate success through a few key metrics. On one side, the quantitative side, we track the following primary KPIs. It's user growth, trading volume, TVL across version 1 and version 2, and transaction success rate. We think those are the four primary KPIs for building a successful platform in that order as well. And then qualitatively, we focus on maximizing user experience through a few things. One is consistency, which is something that we've wanted to improve on for a while. So no matter where you are in the world, you can have a fast and reliable experience on SaucerSwap. And I'll get to that a little bit more later about multi-availability zone and fallbacks. That's one thing that we are working on in the back end. Tied to that is platform reliability, support ticket resolution, and community feedback. So all of that qualitative feedback is really important, and it comes from social media mostly, and then our support tickets as well. So by Q2 2025, we hope to achieve some following concrete deliverables. One that we're currently working on is, as I mentioned before, a complete web app redesign. It'll still be the familiar SaucerSwap flow, but it will be better pretty much in every way. So we're really excited about that. It also steps forward into a little bit more of a mature branding, which we're still going to keep our brand alive, but it is kind of the time to step forward into something more mature, especially as we're getting up into 130 million plus TVL. Another thing that we are working on supporting on the back end first before we upgrade our chart library is high fidelity charting with technical indicators specifically for the most traded tokens. So getting some intra-minute price data and being able to make faster decisions, I think, is really important for serious traders. Another thing is realigning the Larry reward calculation. There has been some feedback about, whether it's totally optimized to be fair to liquidity providers based on all of their different behavior metrics. So time in a pool, the amount of liquidity they put in that pool, the exposure to potential volatility. All of that does already factor into our calculation, but we want to be more data driven and incorporate more feedback just to make sure that our overall system is really optimized to reward liquidity providers effectively. We also, by Q2 2025, aim to complete the code for community pools and submit it for audit. And I will get to that a little bit later. Also, if you just want to skip ahead, if you're one of the users who really is looking for community pools, check out the Medium article. We actually have a whole section just on community pools to give you an update there. We also hope to have the iOS and possibly Android mobile app developed. That is ambitious, as a very ambitious goal, but we think that is one of the best things we can do for user growth, which is pretty much our primary KPI on the quantitative side. That's not a complete list. There are more items on our immediate term roadmap, but the overall point is that all of these developments support those end targets I talked about before in our QualQuant growth strategy.
Harder, better, faster, stronger. I like it. Next question. So the team mints 1.5 million sauce per week, generates big fees, and we're in a bull run. Why no marketing? The team can easily afford it. What do you say to that, Peter?
Yeah, so to clarify this question a bit, so protocol fees and emissions serve distinct purposes. A significant portion of revenue goes directly to pay for software development and infrastructure costs. It is quite expensive. We have paid for marketing services as well, but in the past, we have generally shifted our budget more towards development rather than marketing. We have always held the belief that marketing should articulate and highlight protocol developments, and building a good platform and a good user experience is our number one goal. There's a saying that goes something like marketing attracts and the product delights. And it's pretty self-explanatory, but basically it's saying that, you can get people to click links, visit the site with marketing, but if the experience isn't good, retention won't be there, and users can then form a bad relationship with the product, and that's a form of negative marketing. So we did try to avoid that, especially in the early days. when the protocol was still under some fundamental development. But now that we have a well-functioning product, although there is still a lot of work to do on the product side, we do plan to do two things starting this month and going forward with our marketing plan. Number one, yes, increase our marketing spend. Number two is create a better internal system for adhering to a posting schedule to maximize reach and gain impressions on social media from new users. We think that driving users to the site now is good. The user experience is good. The product is good. So we're on the same page there. We still do hold the same philosophy that product leads and marketing follows. We do have some items on our roadmap that follows from that. Just to name a few, we have and this will be, I think, pretty welcome by token issuers. We have an overhauled token classification system in development, which will provide a more frictionless and automated way for token creators to quickly and easily get their token trading on SaucerSwap with all the relevant information icons without needing to go through a cumbersome process. That has been one of the main pieces of feedback from token creators. Is it's a little bit difficult to get a token issued quickly on SaucerSwap. And then, of course, the iOS and Android mobile app is a great form of marketing, just increasing accessibility, and then also cross-chain integrations. So we have Axelar, which the latest update we have is that the integration on mainnet should be done this month, January 2025. And then the bridge that is powered by Axelar, Squid Router, should be on mainnet shortly thereafter. So I know that's a long answer. So just coming back to the spend, realistically, budgets are finite. Decisions do need to be made. We have always prioritized product and the user experience above all else. So far, that approach has worked out well. We will continue doing that, but also double down on marketing efforts through some increased and focused spending and reorienting some internal processes to stay consistent and communicative on social media.
Twitter fingers. Thanks for that, Peter. So another question from Anon. Do you have any updates on the Coinbase and Binance applications? Is there a possibility of submitting a Robinhood or Uphold application in 2025?
So we've changed our policy a little bit on how we communicate about this. Right now, we have a policy to not comment on potential exchange listings because at the end of the day, it is outside of our control. We don't want to say something and then a third party changes their mind and then we look like fools. So our focus right now is on protocol development, infrastructure improvements as outlined in our roadmap. Listing decisions are they ultimately rest with the exchanges themselves. With that being said, we have remained in contact with the HBAR Foundation, exchanges, and other third parties in order to broaden access to Hedera DeFi and SaucerSwap's ecosystem in particular via additional listings. But we will only make announcements on that front when we have substantive and definitive information to share.
That makes perfect sense to me. Follow-up question, or not follow-up, sorry, the next question. Why do you think the value of Sauce is lagging so far behind HBAR, especially considering that 9 months ago, Sauce was valued at a 2-to-1 against HBAR?
Again, just policy to remain compliant. We don't talk about token price comparisons. In general, focusing on short timeframes doesn't really fully capture protocol development and utility. So our focus is to build the best product in the market and create lasting infrastructure. By virtue of Sauce serving as the protocol token for SaucerSwap, that focus expands Sauce's utility and supports the overall project growth. So our roadmap prioritizes sustainable growth and reliable KPIs that I talked about before, rather than more capricious targets like short-term price movements.
Awesome, awesome sauce. Thanks for that explanation, Peter. The next one is also from Anon. Are there any features from other dexes that you would like to see integrated into the SaucerSwap dex in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is one of the fastest moving spaces. There's always new developments, and we are always looking at other top dexes to get ideas for Saucer Swap. I start some of my days by going through the DeFi Llama Dex leaderboard. I think, by the way, I think we're number 19 or 20 last time I checked. And yeah, there's always cool developments happening. One of them that is available on some dexes is on-chain limit orders. That is an obvious development that would immediately provide substantial benefits to users. It is also one of our most frequently requested features to develop. Um, Another one, although we think we can do it better, we did see a cool feature that served as an auto DCA dollar cost averaging tool on another DEX. And on paper, we think that is awesome. We didn't really like the implementation, but we do want to build this feature for you guys as well. I think it would be awesome to just set aside to plug in some configuration for a DCA strategy and just have it work. That would be really cool. Another one that immediately comes to mind is an auto router with split routes. This has been incorporated on other dexes as well. This is a low-hanging fruit for us. It immediately gives users even better quotes on trades. So SaucerSwap already consistently offers the best quotes across any trading platform on Hedera, but split routes via an auto router, along with auto slippage, would just be the cherry on top. We would fully be able to take advantage of the currently over $130 million of liquidity in the SaucerSwap protocol. Better capital efficiency is a better trading experience. So that one is pretty high up on the list.
Rather saucy indeed, sir. Next question from Anonymous again. Are there plans for limit orders this year?
The answer is yes. We plan to develop and launch limit orders this year.
Awesome, limit orders it is. So, switching gears, do you have any updates on the XLR bridge? Also, do you plan to integrate any bridges seamlessly with SaucerSwap UI?
Yeah, so as mentioned in the intro or first question, Axelar is expected to be live on mainnet in January 2025, this month. We are ready to support their native bridge, the Squid router at launch. We've already completed the UI integration work, I want to say 2, maybe 3 months ago, to ensure a seamless user experience bridging to and from Hedera. So that work is done. We have nothing else to do on that front. We're just waiting for the integration to be done on their end.
Absolutely. That sounds pretty awesome. Can't wait for that to go live. Um, Next question from Anonymous. What are the reasons V1 pools can be created by a user, but V2 pools use governance?
Yeah, this is an excellent question. And you'll see that on the roadmap, we have permissionless version 2 pool creation as an item. So let me quickly explain this. There are 2 main considerations behind the decision to make V2's pool creation governance based. So the first is version 2 has multiple fee tiers. There's a 0.05% fee tier, 0.15, 0.3, and 1%. And those fee tiers require careful consideration to avoid liquidity fragmentation. So if you have duplicate pools with different fee tiers, it can also create confusion for liquidity providers. If you are a liquidity provider who wants to put your HBAR and USDC tokens to work, then which pool are you going to choose, the 0.3% pool or the 1% pool? Maybe the APRs switch back and forth, and the strategy isn't as aligned. Plus, you get some liquidity fragmentation between those 2 pools. That's the main point. The second point is that not all token pairs benefit from concentrated liquidity. So if you have, for example, a highly volatile pair like a meme coin and HBAR, paired together. That's often better suited for version 1 with a constant product formula, which is X, Y equals K, due to the higher volatility risk. While something like a stablecoin pair or something that's loosely pegged like H bar X benefits far more from version 2's concentrated liquidity. So we do plan again to make version 2 pool creation permissionless this year, but we want to implement it thoughtfully and maintain a good user experience and prevent liquidity fragmentation and prevent user confusion. I will just also add a quick addendum to those 2 points that the auto router split routing could help with the issue of liquidity fragmentation and multiple fee tiers. It would basically split up one trade. Instead of taking one path, it could split up, 60% into one path, 30% into another, 10% into the last to find the best output amount. That is somewhat of a prerequisite for a seamless transition to fully permissionless V2 pool creation. We don't want to rush out permissionless V2 pool creation at the expense of capital efficiency and user experience.
Wow, thanks for the insight, Peter. That's very useful information. So moving towards more of the DAO governance, one user is asking, successful elections requiring over an X amount worth of sauce centralizes voting power, allowing a few wallets to influence or control votes. How can this improve?
Yeah, so we do understand this concern, but elections have successfully passed despite the threshold, indicating that the system is functioning as designed. The correct threshold exists somewhere between two extremes. One of those is that if every election passes, the system isn't working. And if every election fails, the system isn't working. You want some elections to pass and some of them to fail. And sauce, and by extension XSauce through single-sided staking, simply serves as SaucerSwap's governance token. So having a greater balance naturally confers more voting power, which is a fundamental utility of the token. We do expect the pass rate of elections to improve further with increased hardware wallet support for Hedera tokens and consensus service transactions from projects like Citadel Wallet and Ledger in the future. We do know that some users sit out from elections because they don't want to move their tokens from their hardware wallet. So once we have that support, we do expect participation and pass rate to improve.
Well stated, Peter. Next question from Anonymous. Is there a possibility of a Sauce app being developed in the future to complement the web browser plugins?
Yes, that is on our roadmap. Dedicated mobile app is included in the near term category. So rather than just replicating the web interface, we want to design a mobile first experience with optimized transaction flows, tailored performance for mobile devices. Development will begin on that after completing immediate term priorities like the website redesign, which I mentioned, and transaction flow optimization.
Yay, awesome sauce. Now users can snag that special token on the go. I'm so looking forward to this. So the next question is actually not from Anon and is from one of our community members, Celestial Being. And they're asking, when will the new roadmap be announced or updated?
Yeah, so for those joining late, we did already publish our new roadmap. It is for this year and beyond. It outlines development priorities across three categories: immediate, near term, and future. You can find it in our documentation at docs.saucerswap.finance, and it focuses on some key pillars that we've been talking about. So infrastructure, user experience, and ecosystem growth initiatives, as well as just project features.
Celestial Being has a follow-up question. Some platforms have deployed a long-term token lockup period, 60 days, 1 year, etc. Should we consider something similar, long-term sauce or XSauce lockup?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. We have talked about this before. We have considered various token locking mechanisms. In the early days, we had an idea for like gamified farming, which was you could kind of lock into a farm for a certain period of time. We looked at the same thing for single-sided staking. Um, but we have kind of shifted our focus. We want to expand sauce utility through features that provide real value to the DEX, and not implement artificial lockups, which is kind of just like a perpetual motion machine in its most extreme form. We're not really interested in that at all. Single sided staking already provides a sustainable yield through protocol fees, HBAR staking rewards, and supplemented by farm emissions. Our upcoming community pools will add another layer of utility over that by allowing XSauce holders to earn new project tokens. I also just think our users from a lot of feedback appreciate the ability to unstake their sauce at any time. So on this issue, we follow the idea that sometimes the most simple solution is the best one.
Thanks for that, Peter. Okay, so these next questions are all related, so I'm just going to read them in order. So firstly, by Anon, since launch in 2022, community pools and NFT staking were promised soon. In 2025, these remain unfulfilled. What steps will you take to speed up development? Following that from Pepe47, are there any upcoming future perks for members who still hold the Planck Epoch collectible NFTs? And then lastly, from Dante Rodriguez, I really like how other websites have NFTs that boost liquidity or farming. Do y'all expect to incorporate anything similar?
Yeah. So community pools were initially delayed as we prioritized other features like SaucerSwap version 2. This turned out to be worthwhile at the time. It was a fruitful prioritization. However, with Hedera's Hedera DeFi's ecosystem expanding now with some projects like memejob.fun and more projects going through launchpads, we have outlined a clear vision for community pools in our roadmap. So the next phase of single-sided staking is phase 2, and that involves getting the X sauce that you get from staking sauce in phase 1, and you can stake that the X sauce in community pools to earn project tokens. And phase 3 is the Sauceling NFTs providing reward multipliers. And as stated before, those legacy Planck Epoch collectible NFTs will be exchangeable, redeemable for Sauceling NFTs. So that bridges our earliest supporters into this new rewards ecosystem. We have reimagined what community pools can be by seeing projects like memejob.fun and other launch pads operating on the network. Before, there just weren't enough new projects launching to support a feature like community pools. That has changed. Community pools should support the community and the broader community at that. So we are actually really excited about this new envision system that eliminates any single ecosystem dependency and supports the entire ecosystem and broader HTS economy. So if you are interested in that new vision, it's in our Medium article. The long and the short of it is basically that we want to make community pools more democratized, make it easier for projects to launch community pools, make it more permissionless rather than having just one track to create a community pool, which I think was a design flaw from before.
Indeed. Next question. Let's see. Liquidity is the lifeblood of a DEX. How to attract more project parties through reward mechanisms, partnerships, etc.
Yeah, another great question. So far, we have done well with liquidity. We actually think that the main thing to focus on is putting that liquidity to work and maximizing volume. Um, there is a flywheel effect that occurs when volume increases. It generates more fees for liquidity providers, and that leads to higher APRs in those pools, leading to more liquidity. So volume is kind of the leading metric. Beyond that, though, there are ways we can optimize for liquidity growth per se, and our approach is multifaceted. It's also outlined in our roadmap. Some items in the immediate term are a Larry system refinement, data-driven reward optimization. I talked about that before. Overhauled token classification system for seamless project onboarding. Talked about that as well. Improved analytics for liquidity providers so they can see more insight into how their positions have done in the past, are doing now, and also cross-chain integrations to bring in more liquidity from other networks. That one should probably be at the top of the list. Honestly, that's the most important. After that, in the near term, we have community pools launching to incentivize new project participation. That in turn will grow liquidity. Auto DCA tools for more efficient capital deployment, and further cross-chain integrations with projects like Layer 0 can support even more interoperability with other networks. Again, super important. And that will act as a vehicle for more users and more liquidity to migrate to Hedera. So the key here for optimizing for liquidity growth in particular is building infrastructure that makes liquidity provision both efficient and rewarding, and accessible, I would say, through the interoperability.
Thanks for that, Peter. We are living through exciting times. Next one is also from Celestial Being. Are there any key performance indicators that the team is going to focus on this year?
So yes, I did touch on this before. As I mentioned, we're doing a qualitative, quantitative evaluation, and the metrics are for quantitative, it's user growth, trading volume, TVL. Oh, sorry. I think I was on mute. So I did just want to mention we talked about this before, but it is quantitative and qualitative metrics. Really quick, just going through it. Quantitative KPIs are user growth, trading volume, TVL across version 1 and version 2, and transaction success rate. And then qualitative is user experience consistency, platform reliability, support ticket resolution, and community feedback. So those are the metrics we track to ensure that our development priorities align with actual user needs.
All right. Sir says, has the team considered using some of the rewards or revenue generated to buy USDC and bring more USDC into the platform? 8-Bit Trade says, what steps can be taken to maintain the Hedera USDC peg and keep it within a tight trading range of USDC HTS and USDC on other chains?
Yeah, so USDC stability on Hedera involves understanding the distinction between native USDC and USDC HTS. Our focus to support stablecoin growth on Hedera relies on a few items. Number one is maintaining an efficient bridge. Actually, setting up that efficient bridge is the first item, and then maintaining it. For example, this was mentioned in the last AMA, but it is a really big feature of the upcoming Squid router via Axelar integration, and that is USDC from other networks will come across on Hedera as Hedera native USDC rather than USDC HTS. So we hope to see more homogeneity of stablecoin liquidity rather than kind of two versions of USDC. On SaucerSwaps and specifically, the DAO can support deep liquidity in USDC pairs, and this is a governance matter. It can be initiated at any time by any user, through the appropriate governance process as outlined in our documentation. So aligning incentives to grow USDC on SaucerSwap once that USDC is in the ecosystem is kind of step two. And the third thing here is implementing the optimal fee tiers for stablecoin pools. This does relate to the earlier question around making version 2 pools fully permissionless and not mediated by a governance process, and some of the challenges surrounding that. So just with regards to the PEG, that is primarily maintained through arbitrage opportunities and market efficiency rather than direct intervention. Our version 2 pools do have minimal slippage with the 0.05% fee tier and very tight liquidity. So to grow USDC on Hedera, it's kind of getting the USDC into Hedera first, either minting it natively or having bridges to allow users to bring in USDC from other networks that mints Hedera native USDC, and then aligning incentives on SaucerSwap to grow that liquidity within liquidity pools.
Thanks so much for that, Peter. So we have Axelar integration, limit orders, permissionless V2 pool creations up on the roadmap. And so this Anon is wondering, how can individual community members promote SaucerSwap?
Yeah. So the most effective, excuse me, community promotion comes through education and authentic engagement. Community members can help answer questions in our Discord, share their experiences. One of the best ways is just complaining to us about things that you don't like about SaucerSwap. It really helps. That feedback is super, super valuable from a qualitative evaluation point of view. So that is a great way. It's not direct promotion, but it helps refine the product, which is an indirect way to promote the product. We've also seen some community members create educational content if they have the means and interest to do so. That is a great thing as well. Seeing some tutorials pop up on YouTube, for example, from users is really cool to see and seems to get some good traction. We actually also have a monthly award for this very purpose. Every month, we reward a user who has gone above and beyond in either promoting SaucerSwap, helping users, stuff of that nature, and we send them some sauce tokens. It's a award we call the Dog Star Award. It's basically a community participation award. In any case, with promoting SaucerSwap, we believe organic growth through informed users creates the strongest network effects rather than artificial promotion. So we do try to, limit how much we just kind of throw to, just kind of unfocused marketing spend. I think is a pretty poor use of a marketing budget. We want to empower users instead. I think that's pays dividends in the long run. And in 2025, I think most people see through artificial growth anyway. You see like a video just really highlighting one project in particular, and I think people see that, and I think it hurts the brand integrity for that project. So we strongly prefer organic growth.
So, in other words, don't forget to like, comment, and smash that subscription button. All right, next question. Are you concerned that the success of the Pack coin might diminish Sauce's market cap? Is there any concern that Hashpack might evolve into a fully fledged DEX in the future? Uh-oh.
Not at all. We are not concerned about that one bit. We view ecosystem growth as positive for all participants. I mean, Hashpack has been a super valuable partner to us and just Hedera DeFi development. They've played such an instrumental role, and their success contributes to broader ecosystem adoption. That's really what we're aiming for. That's the most important thing we can achieve. Hashpack leverages SaucerSwap liquidity pools for their in-wallet swaps. And this provides value both for Hashpack users having accessibility and convenience to swap within their wallet, and SaucerSwap users like liquidity providers who benefit from the increased trading volume. So our focus remains on building the best DEX possible. We think Hashpack is an excellent wallet. I mean, just speaking personally, it's the best wallet I've ever used. The key point is different projects can coexist while serving distinct purposes in the ecosystem. SaucerSwap and Hashpack's relationship is about as symbiotic as a partnership can get, in my opinion.
I absolutely agree. Another one from Anon, would SaucerSwap ever consider implementing a fixed 6% APR for staking, similar to Hashpack pack staking?
So, short answer, probably no. Our yield mechanism for single-sided staking is we really like it. It combines protocol fees, HBAR staking rewards, and some supplemental farm emissions. It is designed to be sustainable, activity-driven, rather than fixing a rate from emissions. We're not trying to knock that approach. We just like our approach. Our approach does ensure that yields reflect actual protocol usage and performance rather than arbitrary targets. It also reduces any reliance on inflationary tokenomic models for the sole purpose of rewarding stakers, which is a dangerous model for a DEX to commit to in the long term. So again, we're not trying to knock that. We think pack staking is awesome. We're really happy with our SAW staking architecture.
And not to mention that Joseph would be really sad that we didn't think he had a beautiful mind anymore. Next question comes from 8-Bit Trade. Does at @iron_NZ speak in any official capacity for SaucerSwap? I've been around in circles many times with him and other accounts on X on certain issues.
To clarify, only team members listed in the documentation, official documentation, docs.saucerswap.finance, speak in a official capacity for SaucerSwap Labs. So while we do appreciate community engagement, discussions by community members on social media should not be considered official statements. That is kind of a general disclaimer. We have worked on a contractor basis with Iron on a number of development projects like the Discord price bots and our developer documentation. And he is an incredible asset to the Hedera community. I also don't think he would ever pretend to speak in an official capacity on behalf of SaucerSwap Labs or anyone else for that matter. Iron is a super nice guy, great software engineer to boot. So we have had a great working relationship with him.
Yeah, Iron's pretty awesome. So another question from Anon, is there anything the SaucerSwap team or project could have improved upon in 2024?
Yeah, there are a lot of things we could have done better in 2024. I think it's an important question and we should answer it honestly. I think in 2024, one thing is that we could have had better, more frequent communication about development progress and better communication in general. While we did put out several development updates, there was a lot of work being done in 2024 that was behind the scenes. We were scaling our systems, we were removing single points of failure in our infrastructure, and those improvements should be invisible to the user. If it's not, then something broke and the site goes down, or something like that. So most of the time, I think actually, all of that kind of quote high risk work, which can be reversed, the site can be brought back up, but we didn't have any downtime for that. So it went extremely well, but it may have contributed to a sense that we weren't working on important developments because there was kind of nothing, ostensibly happening, even though it was really important that we did that. So I think we could have done better at keeping everyone in the loop about the back end work we did in 2024. Again, that consumed a lot of our development bandwidth. Number two is, despite the great progress we made last year, we always do want to develop more and faster, and especially the features that the community requests. It's not great coming, up to the AMAs and not having a new feature to announce or push to production. So, I think we did a pretty good job last year. I wish we could have implemented more community requested features. In any case, those have been reflected in our updated roadmap, and we are committed to executing on that roadmap. I think it would also have been good to have launched this is more for the developers, but a SaucerSwap subgraph in 2024 to allow for easier access to our smart contract event data. This would have made integrations easier, led to quicker growth. We have outlined this as a priority for 2025. So SaucerSwap subgraph, I would have loved to see that last year, but we will work on that this year. Last one is, and we get this a lot, just a more consistent social media presence. It is important. We have not done a 10 out of 10 job on this. Sometimes it's difficult to balance putting out only posts of substance. That's kind of our ideal, with the other reality that you have to be frequently posting. So in 2025, we are reorienting our internal processes to adhere to a more consistent posting schedule. We want to maintain a social media presence even when we're heads down in developer mode. That kind of ties into our communication. So if we're working on something in the back end, we could talk more about that and keep everyone in the loop. So all in all, I think 2024 was a great year for SaucerSwap. I mean, if you look at our metrics, it was an excellent year for volume, liquidity, user growth, all of the things we really care about. And we certainly learned how to improve going into this year. So, we have noted those points of feedback. We will do better this year. If you haven't checked it out yet, we published our multi-year roadmap. It is in our documentation. Also, the latest tweet from us has a Medium article where you can read all about it. So check out that post. Really, we couldn't be more excited to bring these features to life. Some of them have been a long time coming. Other ones kind of came out of left field, like perpetual futures. We have not talked about doing that before, but I think that could be really exciting. So we covered a lot of ground in the space. Of course, we had to touch on community pools. Otherwise, it would not be a true SaucerSwap AMA. Limit orders, mobile app plans, perpetual futures, SaucerSwap version 3, interoperability with bridges, and possible multi-chain expansion. So if you want more details, the new roadmap is live again, docs.saucerswap.finance.
Yeah, this was a banger. I don't think we've had one this long since like 2022. But anyway, we hope everyone enjoyed this AMA. I hope you learned something about our latest trajectory, what it means moving forward. But before we sign off, as usual, I believe Song has a few more words.
Thanks, Adam. Well, that was a really action-packed AMA, and there's a lot of bullish features slated to come out in 2025. And this just makes Hedera look super great and awesome in the horizon. So even though we are on Spaces, this wouldn't be a SaucerSwap AMA if we didn't award a community member a Dogstar Award. So recap for those of you who are new to the SaucerSwap ecosystem, every month or every time we hold an AMA, we award a user a Dogstar Award. And those users have been outstanding in helping promote SaucerSwap and Hedera for the greater good. And this guide will be through tweets, videos, insights, educational materials, or just being a positive, engaging member. So starting off in 2025 in a bullish way, congratulations to Decree Art. Thank you so much for your continued support on X. Please DM me with your wallet ID to claim your sauce tokens. And thanks, everyone. That pretty much concludes our spaces. So thanks for tuning in.